breast because if they do, it might be difficult for the family to feed and be taken care of as things are getting tougher by the day in Nigeria. Well, we're hopeful that no matter how difficult it is, God will ensure we get our daily needs and keep us thriving. That is, if we give Him something to bless. And we sure know that in this difficult time, some people find it hard to earn a living and feed, and it becomes extremely difficult when we fall sick. So you can imagine when feeding is difficult, then the person falls ill or becomes sick. Well, the situation is better imagined than experienced. And that is why we bring you Health Talk with BB. It is a show that educates and informs you on how to care for yourself and loved ones and to help you prevent sickness. Well, today on Health Talk, we'll be talking about hepatitis. So if you don't know a lot about hepatitis, this is your opportunity to do so. Or you have little information about hepatitis, you can also add to your knowledge as if you pay attention. And to do this, I have Dr. Toriola in the studio via phone call. So we'll be asking him all the questions we have on hepatitis. And if you too have any question on hepatitis, you can call in to ask as well. Dr. Oluwanishola Toriola is our guest today. He is a medical doctor. He's also a fellow of arts in medicine and also the past president of the Association of Medical Students, University of Lagos. Good morning, Dr. Toriola.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning. Morning, listeners.
All right. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. Very well, dear.
All right. You're welcome to the show.
I'm happy to be here.
All right. So we'll be talking about hepatitis. So to start, can you give us an insight to what hepatitis is?
Okay. So, hepatitis is basically an illness of the liver, inflammation of the liver, which is very thinly, but it's mainly a liver issue in layman's terms. Or hepatitis simply means an inflammation of the tissues in the liver.
All right. I don't know. We can barely hear you. I don't know. There's a noise in the background. I don't know if it's coming from your end.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, it's somehow better.
Okay.
All right. Can we listen to that again because we barely heard what you said.
Okay, so I said hepatitis is an inflammation of the liver. Basically, an illness that affects the liver. It could be varying amount a number of causes, but as long as it's something that affected the liver and causes an inflammation of the liver, it's hepatitis.
All right. Thank you very much, doctor. But before we go on, I'd like to ask if it's possible to call you via WhatsApp call so we can hear you clearly because this isn't really clear. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, we'll be going on a short break and we'll come back to hear Dr. Toriola properly, okay?
They say is wealth. So if you want to take care of your health and enjoy good health, join BB every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Your health is wealth. Health, they say, is wealth. So if you want to take care of your health and enjoy good health, join BB every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Your health is wealth. Health.
think we've connected Dr. Toriola via our WhatsApp call so we can hear him clearly. All right, Doc, welcome back to the show.
Thank you very
It
much.
is very
It's a
clear
pleasure to be
now.
here.
Very, very clear now.
Awesome.
All right, let's start
Awesome.
from what hepatitis is all about, what you told us before when we couldn't hear you properly.
Okay, so I was saying that hepatitis is simply an inflammation of the liver. So any illness that affects the liver specifically and causes an inflammation in the liver is termed hepatitis, to put it simply.
Okay. All right. How serious is hepatitis? Is it a serious illness? Is it a minor one? How serious is it?
Well, the liver is a very hugely functional organ in the body. So an illness that affects the liver is actually a serious illness. In as much as that is, it also depends on what the cause is and how much damage is occurring in the liver at that point in time. So that's what either makes it serious or just a mild illness.
Okay. Usually we hear people categorize, doctors like you categorize this illness, hepatitis A, B, and C. So why is that so? Are there different hepatitis that we don't know?
Yes, there are actually a lot of causes of hepatitis. There is viral causes, there's alcoholic hepatitis, there are other things that can cause hepatitis, even pregnancy related diseases and even autoimmune problems. Even drugs. But when we're talking about viral causes of hepatitis, that's when we now come to talking about hepatitis A, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, D, and E. They are all viral types of hepatitis caused by viruses, essentially.
All right. I'm particularly interested in the one caused by alcohol. So
Okay.
how much can one take that will lead to hepatitis?
Well, a person actually has to take a significant amount of alcohol, like a very huge amount of alcohol, especially per week. Let's say about 200 grams of alcohol per week. The person has to actually be a really chronic alcoholic, and consistently that over a period of time before the person can actually come down with the alcoholic hepatitis. So the person has to take a large load, at least 200 grams, especially in men. For women, maybe about 100, 120 grams of alcohol every week would actually make the person come down with alcoholic hepatitis.
All right, Doc. On a personal level, let me ask you this because in this Lagos, we see a lot of people taking sachet alcoholic drink they call bitters. I don't know if you're aware of it. A lot of people take it,
Yeah.
both men and women, and they do take it on an empty stomach. So, what do you have to say about that?
Well, that is because of the habitual nature of them taking that sort of alcohol. Some of them, you find out that they take up to 10 sachets in a day,
Yeah.
even before afternoon. Some people have already consumed that, more than half of that amount. So, yes, at some point in time, over a long period of time, they can actually come down with alcoholic hepatitis. Not even only alcoholic hepatitis, it can also destroy, even the kidneys and a lot more, since, it's a drug, sort of alcohol. It's
Okay.
sort of like a drug.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Away from alcoholic beverages, let's go to the symptoms that hepatitis present. Are there symptoms that when we see it, we can say, okay, this one has it or not?
Yes. Well, for some people, especially when it comes to the viral hepatitis and the ones that are caused by pathogens, most of the time they can present with just non-specific symptoms that might just look like malaria, from tiredness to weakness to fever, just headache, and to very serious symptoms like abdominal pain or abdominal swelling, even yellow eyes, jaundice, and vomiting, and a lot more serious symptoms, especially when it becomes even worse. Mental disturbances, loss of consciousness, and as worse as even death.
Okay, okay. Now let's take a look at the transmission. Can it be transmitted? If yes, what's the mode of transmission?
Okay, so when we're talking about transmission, we'll talk mostly about the viral types of hepatitis.
Okay.
Like you said before, like you mentioned, there's the hepatitis A, B, C, and E and D. Some of them are transmitted via oral routes. People who have wells close to a soakaway or someone eating with dirty hands from the toilets, or cooking with infected water can cause hepatitis A and hepatitis E majorly. Those ones are transmitted fecal-orally. But hepatitis B and C and hepatitis D are transmitted via blood contact, body fluids, sexual contact when it comes to hepatitis B and C. And some hepatitis B can also be transmitted from mother to child. Those are the ways they are actually transmitted.
Okay, that means washing hands is not about COVID, it's not about ulcer, it's not about typhoid, it's also about hepatitis, right?
Yes, precisely.
All right. So what you're basically saying that if you want to kiss someone, let me take you to that angle. Sorry about that. If you want to kiss someone, you should ensure that the person has no hepatitis, right?
Well, for hepatitis B and hepatitis C, they can be transmitted via kissing.
Okay.
But more importantly, sexual contact.
Okay.
Most importantly, yes.
So it's not also about HIV, it's also about hepatitis.
Exactly, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. All right, let's look at breastfeeding mothers to their child. If a breastfeeding mother tested positive to hepatitis, can she transmit it to the baby?
Well, yes, that's possible. But most times when a mother is found to be hepatitis B positive, there are measures put in place to make sure that the child doesn't get it.
Okay.
Especially from time, and especially if the mother attends antenatal early enough and it's detected. Yes.
Okay. Is it possible if we want to visit the clinic or the hospital and say, I want to get tested, I want to know if I have hepatitis or not?
Oh, yes. It's even advised to do that because, like it is, there's a vaccine. So once the person gets tested, the person is found to be negative, the person has the options, which is even very much advised to get the vaccine, and it protects. It has lifelong protection against hepatitis B especially as vaccine.
Okay, that means the vaccine doesn't prevent every other type of hepatitis, just
hepatitis
B.
Yes, just for hepatitis B. Yes.
Okay, wow. So if I'm getting the vaccine, I'm not sure of all other hepatitis, just the B. Okay, that's fine.
Yes, just the B.
Now, what are the steps we need to take to prevent hepatitis or to prevent being infected with the virus?
Well, the most important part is actually education, knowing about it. Having the knowledge of the modes of transmission would also help to prevent it. For instance, hepatitis A and hepatitis E, hand washing, like you mentioned, good water hygiene, cooking with proper planning of the wells, the boreholes, and the soakaways would also prevent that. And for hepatitis B and hepatitis C, safe sexual practices, early antenatal for women who might have been exposed to hepatitis B or hepatitis C, so that the children or the offsprings or the babies, the infants of those kind of women that are infected can be treated really early. When it comes to circumcision, especially for males, hygienic, safe circumcision of males would also prevent that, especially with one-use blades. And like I said at the beginning, education and giving information, especially to traditional birth attendants who, have the majority of the load of people that pregnant women and pregnancies and take a lot of deliveries, and do most of the circumcisions. So at least they can have safe circumcision practices. I think that is a very important place to start from.
All right. And that also goes to people who get tattoos and body piercings, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yes. And drug users as well. People who use injection drugs. Educating them and making sure that those kind of things stop.
All right. I once had a friend who tested positive to hepatitis. In fact, they noticed it because her eyes turned yellow. And someone was like, go check yourself. It seems you have hepatitis. And when she got to the hospital, they said she's not going because it's a serious issue. Now, they told her, they gave her a list of things not to share with people. And they were talking about sharing towels, sharing cups, all these personal items you shouldn't share with people. Is it really that serious?
Not exactly. In terms of sharing cups, sharing toilets, sharing spoons, or cooking utensils, or eating plates, basically. No, it's more pertinent to sharing needles, sharing blades, or sharp objects like injection drug users that share syringes and needles. That's where it's more consequential, or even unprotected sexual intercourse. Blood transfusion, tattoos, like you mentioned.
Okay. Now let me still ask: who are the people that are at risk of getting hepatitis?
Okay, well, the people at risk of getting hepatitis are people that live especially when it comes to hepatitis B, the viral one, are people that live in the endemic areas. Like Nigeria is an endemic place, it's an endemic region for hepatitis B, so to speak. So people that live in Nigeria are sort of exposed because, especially the unvaccinated people, they're sort of exposed because, sexual contact, sharing toothbrushes, mother to child transmission, receiving unscreamed blood or screamed blood transfusion, or tattoos. This can actually are risk factors, basically. Health workers too are at risk because of needle stick injuries and the likes.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor. Now, what can you tell people out there? What do they need to do? Like words for them. What can you tell them regarding hepatitis? How to protect themselves? What to look out for? Kind of summarizing it for them.
Okay. Well, the commonest causes and the most common types of hepatitis seen out there is hepatitis B, and thankfully, it has a vaccine. So what I would like to say is, first off, everyone should get tested. If they don't know their hepatitis B status, get tested and get vaccinated. The vaccine it has lifelong protection. So they will also be protecting their loved ones by getting vaccinated. They should also preach it to their family members, start antenatal early for pregnant women, so as to protect their children, their infants, and as well as good hygiene for the ones that can be transmitted fecal-orally. That's hepatitis A and hepatitis B. Good water, safe water sources, and safe sexual practices as well. So this will be my advice.
All right. Most especially safe sexual practices. I like that because All right, doctor, let me still ask this, and I think probably that will be our last for today. Um, are there liver tests that one can carry out to check if there's any liver disease, even aside hepatitis?
Oh yes, yes. There are panels of tests that could be done. For instance, there are the viral screens, HIV, hepatitis B, hepatitis C, and there are also the liver function test that just looks at the biochemical and the clinical parameters of the liver, and to assess the function of the liver. You know, basically, they are.
All right. So if I want to take the vaccine for hepatitis B, where do I go for it?
Well, I think the best place to start is the nearest primary healthcare center closest to you, because I think Lagos has done quite a good job at the primary health care level. So any primary health care center is a good place to start, and from there you can be referred to the appropriate places if that service is not available at the primary health center.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Toriola, for your time and patience. Thank you for being on the show
It's
with
a
us.
pleasure.
And thank you for
It's a
answering all
pleasure.
our questions. We'll get to have
It's a
you some
pleasure.
other time. We'll get to have you some other time.
No problem at all. Thank you
right.
for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. That's it on hepatitis with Dr. Oluwanishola Toriola. So, thank you so much for listening, and I do hope that you've learned what hepatitis is. If you're someone who is heavy on alcohol, you better do something now. If you're someone who practices unsafe sexual affairs, you better do something about it, because it is a serious illness, or rather a serious disease, and you can actually get tested. Go to any family or healthcare clinic, check yourself, get tested, get the vaccine, and you're good to go. That's for hepatitis B. The vaccine is for hepatitis B. Then you can also practice your hand washing, which you now know that is not just about ulcer, it's not just about COVID-19 or typhoid, it's also about hepatitis. Wash your hands regularly, especially after going out, touching money, visiting the toilet. Make sure you wash your hands properly. And that is how we'll wrap it up on Health Talk with Bibi this morning. I wish to see you same time next week as we bring another interesting topic your way.